A uniting theme between the Nazi Party and many radical Arab nationalists is a vehement hatred of Jews.
So there was a transport of ideas and structures of authoritarian, basically totalitarian structures and ideas from Germany to the Middle East, especially to Syria and Iraq.
The Ba'ath Party was a fascist party. It was an Arab fascist party, one of many Arab fascist parties. There were, of course, Nazi-style parties throughout the Middle East, Nazi allied policies, and the Ba'ath carried the flame.
All over the Middle East, Hitler's autobiography, Mein Kampf, is translated into Arabic and sold in markets. This is all done with assistance from the Germans. Already, German embassies in the Arab capitals are spreading propaganda and making secret contacts with Arab nationalists.
Germany had a radio station, and it would start, حي العرب هنا برلين. Salute the Arabs, here is Berlin, and this is Berlin radio station. So the Germans were agitating all Arab nationalists against the British.
All across the Arab world, sympathy for Nazi ideas is spreading.
One thing you notice in the 1930s is increasingly Arab nationalist circles are influenced by the racist and anti-Semitic language of Nazi Germany.
By the late 1930s, the Ba'ath movement is still in its infancy, and its founder, Michel Aflaq, is barely known to the wider Arab public. But in the years to come, the party will grow into an organized, ruthless machine, one that will give Saddam Hussein an iron grip on Iraq. It will also form a savage secret police whose massive military power will enable Saddam to threaten the stability of the whole Middle East, while brutally putting down all dissent. Why was the Ba'ath so terrifyingly effective? Because deep in the historical roots of the Ba'ath Party was the hidden hand of Nazi Germany. (1936), Germany. Nazi persecution of German Jews is systematic and brutal. In charge of the campaign of racial purification is the chief of the SS, Heinrich Himmler. But few now know that Himmler is also paying close attention to events in the Middle East. Already, since Hitler's rise to power in 1933, 174,000 Jews have fled Nazi Germany and Eastern Europe for the safety of British-controlled Palestine. Now, Himmler begins to toy with the idea of forcing the rest of Germany's Jews to follow, a massed, forced exodus.
The first policy was to force the Jews out of Germany and as such to their own homeland, which was Palestine. He intended later to surround Palestine and destroy them there in one convenient container.
But for Himmler and his boss, Adolf Hitler, there is another reason for expanding their influence in the Middle East, especially Palestine. There, Arab nationalists, bitterly opposed to the influx of Jews, launch a series of uprisings against the British authorities. The uprising would reverberate back to Berlin.
The Palestinian issue had a major impact. We had the 1936 revolt by the Arab Palestinians against what they saw as Jewish incursions. This kind of expansion was seen, at a certain point, was seen as dangerous. So the upheaval in Palestine impacted, it had its influence on the minds and hearts of Arab nationalists and the public at large.
To many Palestinian Arabs, the arrival of European Jews from Germany, Russia, and elsewhere, tolerated by the British administration, is deeply threatening. Once a small minority, Jews now number a third of the population.
In the politics of Palestine of the 1930s, with increasing Jewish settlement, with increasing resentment by the Arab Muslim populations of the Zionist project in Palestine and of Jewish settlement, a very discontented Palestine emerges, and you have riots at the end of the 1920s and a revolt in the mid-1930s.
Militant Arabs declare a general strike, and to pile on the pressure, organize a vicious campaign of violence against Jews and the British. The leader of this uprising is a man named Amin al-Husseini, former Turkish army officer, and now known as the Grand Mufti, or senior Islamic leader of Jerusalem. Amin controls the revolt from a hideout on Jerusalem's Temple Mount, which the British fear to attack in case they inflame Muslim opinion around the world. Amin is a man with immense authority. He claims he is a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, and for years he has orchestrated opposition to the Jews and the British. Now, as president of a committee representing Arab parties, he calls for an immediate end to Jewish immigration and national independence for an Arab Palestine.
Palestine and all Arab and Islamic land was held by the Mufti to be a sacred territory that was there for the sole enjoyment of the Muslim faith and to the exclusion of Christians and Jews.
As the revolt grows into a full-scale uprising, the British declare martial law. The entire country is put in lockdown. They rush 20,000 troops to Palestine to put down the rebels. But the Grand Mufti has secretly met with German and Italian intelligence agents, and the British suspect his forces are getting German arms. Desperately seeking a solution, the British offer to partition Palestine between the Jews and the Arabs. Jewish Palestinians accept the proposal, but the Arabs, led by the Grand Mufti, refuse. What becomes known to Arabs as the Great Uprising will continue. It will cost the lives of more than 5,000 Arabs, 400 Jews, and 200 British before it's all over. 15,000 people are wounded. In Germany, Adolf Hitler and his SS chief Heinrich Himmler see the situation in Palestine as an opportunity. If the British create a new Jewish state, could that be Germany's chance to expel its remaining Jews? Could the Arab nationalists prove useful allies of Germany? To find out, Heinrich Himmler sends a trusted emissary on a secret mission to the Middle East.
Adolf Eichmann was one of the